Hello and welcome to the EMJ Gold podcast, brought to you by EMJ, your number one open access destination for HCPs and pharma globally. Hello and welcome back to another episode. It is just me, Isabel, today, I'm afraid, but don't worry, I have a great episode coming up for you. So recently, I had the pleasure of talking to Patrick Oliver, who is the General Manager for the UK and Ireland at Alfasigma. Now, the company is currently building their presence here in the UK and Ireland space. So Patrick is working really hard to lead the team in this new and competitive market. Coming up, you should expect insights on how the company began, where he's hoping it can go in the future, the opportunities and challenges presented by the UK health sector, and much more. But before we get into that, I'd love to give you a bit more background on today's guest. So, as I said, Patrick is the General Manager for the UK and Ireland for Alfasigma, a role he's held since the company started operations in the UK in early 2024. He's got 36 years of experience in the industry, with 16 of those being in the market access space. And before this role, Patrick worked for a variety of large pharmaceutical companies, including Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie and Abbott. He's got a huge range of experience to share with us all, and I'm very excited to share his episode today. So without further ado, let's hear from the man himself.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Isabel.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you.
Yeah? Well, we're very pleased to have you on. You're joining us in the studio today, which we always love. We love when people come in. And we're going to be talking about a few different things today. One is your new-ish role at Alfasigma, the UK life sciences landscape, and then also the healthcare system here in the UK at large. So a lot to cover. But first, we do like to ask our guests what drew them into this industry, which is pharma in the first place. So it'd be great if you could give us a bit of background on that.
It is. So I think originally I did a degree in physiology. I'm passionate about medicine and I guess about making a difference in people's lives. And the pharmaceutical industry was a great opportunity to be able to put my degree to good use. It's a great industry to be part of. Lots of career opportunities, and I think that's what initially drew me to the industry. But I think working with like-minded people, and I suppose being able to add value all the time in everything that I've done, every job, has kept me in the industry. So yes, 36 years now in the industry.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time.
That's a good stint. And how easy was it to find your niche within the industry? When did you really sort of discover what you were passionate about?
I think my niche came when I moved into market access, looking more at population health rather than individual health. So my early career was very much carrying the bag, seeing primary care, secondary care physicians, understanding the needs of those customers with respect to their patients, but then working in the value and market access field. It very much taught me about how decisions are made within the NHS, how to leverage that, and to work in partnership with our customers to hopefully make patients' lives better. We have to keep the patient at the centre of everything we do.
So definitely a crucial objective to be meeting. Well, we are going to today be talking about your current role, which is at Alfasigma.
It is.
Could you provide a bit of insight onto the presence of Alfasigma in the UK, and what the focus is? What's coming up for you guys? What's the plan?
So we're relatively new as an organisation in the UK. Globally, it's a family-owned business that's got 75 years of heritage, and we're trying to leverage the sort of back catalogue of Alfasigma and bringing that to the UK. So we've got an established team. It was an organisation owned by another pharma company and was bought out. They bought the product and all of the people with it. So we've transitioned across and created Alfasigma's presence in the UK. So our opportunity, if you like, is to establish Alfasigma within the UK, to look at its back catalogue, and that's really exciting.
No, it certainly sounds it. And is it Italy originally?
It is. So family-owned Italian business. and they've got a broad base both in manufacturing, in production, in pharma, and in nutraceuticals as well.
And how's it been navigating that change, I suppose? It's been, I'm sure
it's been different. Change is something we face every day of the week. And I think one of the things I learned early in my career was you have to embrace change and be quite resilient in order to succeed. And how is it? Has it been? There've been some challenges. I think most of them have been more to do with the back office, so the systems, the processes, making sure that they're all in place. The team have been amazing. They're a pretty resilient group, but I think a lot of that is due to a lot of the work we did over the last year or two in terms of adapting to change as an organisation. And perhaps I'll tell you a bit more about that later.
Yeah. So is this something that was in the works for a while, so you had time to kind of prepare for it?
Sort of. So towards the end of last year, we knew that we were likely to change hands. And that happened quite quickly, in name at least. And that happened in February of this year, of 24. Literally 3 weeks ago, we went through our changing of the guard, so to speak. So all the banking process orders, systems behind the scenes have all happened. So whilst a lot of people thought that the actual change of our organisation had already happened, it only happened in name. All the hard work has been leading up to. It's sort of happening, and we're just getting over the last bits and bobs in terms of troubleshooting. We should be done by Christmas, I think. So that will help us embark the new year and ensure that we can focus back out into our customers and our patients.
Brilliant. And can you tell us a bit more about your role in the company?
Yeah, of course. So I'm currently the general manager. So my role is literally, as the title says, general. So I have my hands in a lot of different pots. And I guess really it's about ensuring that there is a direction of travel and everybody is on the same page. I think it's important when you are part of an organisation, you understand what your roles and your responsibilities are, the value that you bring. But we need a clear direction, understand why we're doing what we're doing, and how we will know when we get there. I think there's some critical things that we need to ensure that there is clarity on, but equally want an engaged workforce. People need to feel that they're adding value, that that there's a reason for getting up in the morning, and pull together as a team and an organisation. So my job is literally to make sure the ship steers in the right direction, I guess.
People want to get up and come to
people
work
want
every
to get
day.
up, and absolutely, and they seem to, and that's changed. My original role, I was employee number one actually in the UK. So I was the first employee as part of the organisation.
Then you'd won an award for being employee number one. I was like, very impressive.
No, few awards for general managers these days. It's, I'm the best general manager in the UK for Alfasigma.
General managers.
Exactly. But yeah, I started my career working for this UK organisation as market access. And was focused on getting funding for our products with the health technology associations. Then took a commercial director's role, and which led into the opportunity to step into the general manager's role. And I think, again, that opportunity through change has and being adaptable to that change has helped me get where I am today. And I have to say, I'm loving every minute of it.
So talking of change and being dynamic, the UK life sciences sector is at a real crossroads at the moment. It's facing numerous challenges. How is Alfasigma going to respond to this dynamic environment, and what role do you see the company playing in supporting these healthcare improvements that the country needs?
It's a big question. I guess in order to be a viable business, we need to make sure that the way in which we pivot around the customer is appropriate. It supports their needs, and as an organisation, it means that we need to make sure the right person's in front of the right customer. Back in early 23, we went through a change in our go-to-market model, which in hindsight has put us in a really great position for the changes that are coming through the NHS as we speak. Always changes, I guess, in the NHS. So we're always pivoting around our single customer. But what we did was, rather than having a number of sort of different people contacting the same customer, what we have is a account manager now that coordinates the activities of a number of different people with different expertise to make sure that the right message gets to the right person within an account. And the reason for that is really quite simple, in that very rarely are decisions made in isolation by an individual anymore. They're made as part of a team, as part of an organization. And what we have to do is to make sure that we bring everybody on the journey with us. And that ensures that we can work in partnership with the NHS and hopefully create some change that has a positive impact on patients as well.
Yeah, I think you're so right when you talk about how decisions aren't made as an individual anymore.
No, they're not.
Even in pharma, I think decisions aren't made really like that anymore.
No.
I think everything's a bit more of a team sport. So if you can adapt and be more agile towards that,
absolutely
be a good thing. There's another thing on the horizon which has been quite prominent in the news recently, which is the Lord Darzi report on the NHS. He said it was in a critical condition. What can pharma do to kind of support this healthcare system? I know you've touched on kind of how they can adapt like to the inner workings of the NHS and how to reach those doctors, but what can they actually do from a public health perspective, from a market access perspective, to help out this healthcare system, which really feels like it's on its last legs at the moment?
Yeah, I think the great thing that we need to remember is that the NHS has got people who are passionate about what they do. And I think the challenges are more around system and process than anything else. And I think that's as frustrating for people that work in the NHS as it is for the people that work with the NHS. What can we do? I think we're limited to what we can do at a local level. It would be lovely to think that we could lobby the government. Certainly as a medium-sized pharma company, we don't have the capacity to be able to do that. But if we could change the way in which the NHS is funded, and it was looking more long-term to allow them to invest in technology, to invest in new ways of using their data, that would facilitate the changes that need to happen, that would be ideal. And if there's something that we could do around that, that would be fantastic. In the short term, and working locally, we can continue to help educate and ensure that our healthcare professionals understand and the indications and the disease areas that we work in. We have a couple of programs that we work with junior doctors to help educate and bring them up to be able to sort of take more senior roles. We are experts in project management as a pharma company. So hopefully we can work in partnership. And whilst there is still some skepticism and trust challenges around working with the NHS, the thing is that we can bring shared best practice from other customers and healthcare professionals that we will have talked to the table to help problem solve and look for opportunities to sort of build a stronger NHS.
When you talk about the challenges and the skepticism, which side is that coming from?
I think it's one of the NHS struggling to know about the I suppose the intentions that you come with as a pharmaceutical company, that there are other agendas on the table, which is not always the case. Sometimes it might be, but it's not always the case. And I think we've got an opportunity here to build trust at a local level, and ultimately we have the opportunity of being able to make some change which has a positive impact on people's lives. So.
Yeah, I think the trust debate is a really interesting one with pharma. I don't know if you've seen recent data from Ipsos, which says it's only going up.
Okay, that's good.
Which is great.
That's good.
But yeah, I think on the ground, people don't always feel like that, or certainly the public perception hasn't quite caught up in the same way.
Yeah.
How would you go about, at Alfasigma, ensuring that you're transparent and, patients have trust in your organization?
I don't think that's rocket science. We started a journey internally with an organization where we completely changed pretty much 90% of everybody's jobs. The opportunity to build that sort of culture, if you like, starts with one of being open and transparent. And from that, and showing that you are being open and transparent on an ongoing, regular basis, helps build trust. It creates a safe environment for people to talk openly in that environment. And I don't think working with the NHS is any different. It's building that openness that you are true to your word, that you are talking openly and honestly about your own agenda, about what's in it for us. And that starts the conversation, builds the trust, and hopefully will take us on a journey where we can start working more closely in partnership, because there is a better understanding of both sides of the table.
So we've kind of touched on a few different things around your new role, the healthcare system in the UK. And I guess I'm interested to know what success is going to look like for you with Alfasigma. And I know you're in these very early stages, but, looking ahead, what would you like to see?
Success for us internally is one where people, my team, come to work and can be themselves, that they feel empowered, that they have the autonomy to be able to do the best job that they can. So having a really positive cultural environment where everybody is able to do their job to their best effect is one area. I guess from a outward-facing opportunity, it's being able to work in partnerships in the NHS, and it would be great to be able to look to the NHS, and they are seeing us as a partner, and I think that would be another marker of success. And of course, growing as an organisation, and being able to broaden our base, bringing new products to the UK, and expanding our business in order to be a viable healthcare organisation in the UK would be a third area. It's business at the end of the day. So
absolutely. And so obviously you've gone through a sort of a big change recently. You're heading up this organisation. How has this been for you personally? How do you manage the stresses of the job? I always find it interesting talking to people in your industry, because there's always a lot going on in these roles. There's a lot to manage. So perhaps to finish, how do you keep a straight head and make sure you're making the best decisions for yourself and the business?
I think it's important to work with your team, work with the people around you. You've already mentioned earlier that we've discussed around decisions generally are made by an individual. I work with a great leadership team, and anything that we do is always discussed openly to ensure that we've not missed anything, because as much as I have responsibility and accountability for the organisation, I don't have all the ideas, I don't have all the answers, so it's important to engage the team, use their experience, and that helps us make better decisions. So I think that's probably one of the critical things that I would look to ensure that we continue to do.
Okay, Patrick. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
That's okay.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you about
lovely to meet you too, Isabel.
Alfasigma, and a pleasure to have you on. I hope you've had a nice time, and we wish you the best of luck with everything with Alfasigma.
Thank you so much.
Well, I really enjoyed that discussion. I hope you did too. I particularly liked Patrick's closing points there around the importance of working with your team. As he said, having open discussions is really key to fostering good teamwork and relationships. And also, as he said, leadership doesn't always have the answers. So it's very important to have open floor discussions like this to drive change both inside and outside of organisations. I also enjoyed his comments on the NHS. This episode was actually recorded before the new UK budget came out, which had a whole host of new funding for the health system and for life sciences too. But as he stated, the system is outdated in places, it is in need of reform, and there's definite value to working locally, and partnerships definitely offer a way forward as well. However, that is all we have time for this week. I will be back next week with my co-host Jade with another interesting interview from the world of pharma. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you soon.